Can you come get me? Her voice whispered through the phone, thin and shaking, like it might break if she spoke any louder. He locked the door. For a moment, I thought I'd misheard her. The words didn't make sense together. Lock the door. Come get me. My brain lagged behind my instincts. Who locked it? I asked, already sitting up on the couch, my heart starting to race. There was a pause. Not the kind where someone is thinking, but the kind where someone is afraid to answer. He did, she said. My husband. The room suddenly felt smaller. The ticking wall clock sounded louder. Outside, the city was quiet, the kind of quiet that makes bad thoughts clearer. Are you hurt? I asked. No, she replied quickly, then hesitated. Not yet. That single word tightened something in my chest. Her name was Lily. We had known each other for years. Not lovers. Not strangers. Something in between. Unfinished conversations, unsent messages, feelings neither of us had been brave enough to name. She had married fast. Too fast. I had told myself it wasn't my place to stop her. I'm in the bedroom, she continued, whispering. He's drunk. He took my keys. He said if I try to leave, I'll regret it. I stood up, my hands shaking as I grabbed my jacket. I'm coming. No, she said immediately. You can't. The gate is locked from outside. His car is blocking mine. I closed my eyes, forcing myself to breathe. Calling the police felt dangerous to her. Doing nothing felt worse. Listen to me, I said. Is there another way out? There's a window, she whispered. It opens to the back alley. But it's dark, and I don't know if he'll hear me. My mind raced. Fear, anger, guilt, all tangled together. I thought of all the times I could have checked on her and didn't. All the times she said, he just gets jealous because he loves me. Before I could stop myself, the words left my mouth. There's still room at my place. Silence. I wondered if I'd crossed a line. If I'd made things worse. Then she exhaled, a broken sound halfway between relief and fear. Okay, she whispered. I'll try. I stayed on the phone as she moved. Every tiny sound felt amplified, fabric brushing skin, a soft click, her breath hitching. My heart pounded like I was the one climbing out that window. I'm outside, she said finally. I'm barefoot. Don't hang up, I said. I'm right here. 25 minutes later, my doorbell rang. I opened the door and there she was. She looked smaller somehow. Hair messy, eyes red and swollen, arms wrapped around herself like she was trying to hold herself together. No bag, no shoes, just her phone and a lifetime of fear. For a second, we just stared at each other. Then she stepped forward and collapsed into my arms. Her body was shaking so hard I thought she might fall. I held her without thinking, one hand on her back, the other steadying her breathing. You're safe, I said softly. I hoped it was true. Inside, I gave her my hoodie and a towel. She sat on the edge of my bed, staring at the floor like it might open and swallow her. He wasn't always like this, she said suddenly, voice flat. At first, he just wanted to know where I was. Then who I talked to. Then why I needed to go out at all. I listened. I didn't interrupt. I didn't tell her what she should have done. She had heard enough of that. He said the world was dangerous, she continued. That home was safer. I didn't realize I was the one being locked in. She lay down facing the wall. I took the couch, fully dressed, eyes open. At 3:12 a.m., my phone buzzed. Unknown number. You think you can hide her? My blood turned cold. I didn't reply. I turned the phone face down and stared at the ceiling, listening to Lily's uneven breathing from the other room. I knew then, this wasn't over. Not even close. I didn't sleep that night. Every sound felt like a warning. The elevator cable humming. Footsteps in the hallway. A car slowing down outside my building. My mind kept replaying the message on my phone. You think you can hide her? At some point near dawn, Lily stirred. She sat up suddenly, eyes wide, breath fast. Is he here? She asked. No, I said quickly, sitting up. You're okay. You're safe. She pressed her hand to her chest, trying to slow her breathing. I keep thinking I hear his footsteps. That fear doesn't disappear overnight, I said. But you're not alone anymore. She looked around the room, really noticing it this time. The plain walls, the half-open window, the door that wasn't locked from the outside. You didn't lock it, she said quietly. No, I replied. You can, if you want. She shook her head. Not yet. Morning came slowly. Pale light filled the room like it was afraid to wake us too fast. Lily sat at the kitchen table, holding a cup of tea with both hands. Her fingers were still trembling. He'll call, she said. He'll pretend nothing happened. As if summoned by her words, her phone rang. His name flashed on the screen. She froze. I don't want to answer, she whispered. But if I don't, he'll get angrier. You don't owe him anything, I said. Her hand hovered over the screen. Then she turned the phone face down. A few seconds later, my phone buzzed. Unknown number again. Tell her to come home. I felt anger rise, hot, sharp, focused. This stops now, I muttered. I blocked the number. Lily watched me, eyes wide. You shouldn't do that. I should, I replied. He's testing boundaries. He's used to control. She swallowed. What if he comes here? Then we deal with it the right way. Later that day, we went out together. Lily hadn't walked freely in months. She stayed close to me, flinching at sudden sounds, scanning every face. At a legal aid office, she told her story. Dates, patterns, locked doors, threats disguised as concern. The woman across the desk listened carefully, writing everything down. This is domestic confinement, she said calmly. And emotional abuse. Lily's voice cracked. I thought I was overreacting. You weren't, the woman replied. You survived. Paperwork followed. Temporary protection orders. Steps. Processes. Nothing felt fast enough, but at least things were moving. That evening, when we returned to my apartment, something felt off. The hallway was quiet. Too quiet. I stopped walking. There, right in front of my door, was a small velvet box. Lily's breath caught. That's my ring. My stomach dropped. He was here, she whispered. I looked around. No cameras, no witnesses. Just a message without words. I didn't open it, I said. I swear. She nodded, tears filling her eyes. He's reminding me that he can reach me. I picked up the box using my sleeve and walked straight to the trash chute. I dropped it without hesitation. When I came back, Lily was shaking. I can't do this, she said. He'll never stop. He will, I replied firmly. Because this time, you're not alone, and you're not silent. That night, there was a knock at the door. Slow, controlled, confident. I looked through the peephole. It was him, well-dressed, calm, smiling like this was a friendly visit. My heart pounded, but I opened the door. She forgot something important, he said smoothly. She didn't, I replied. He glanced past me, eyes searching. Lily. She's not here. He chuckled softly. You always liked playing the hero. I'm not playing, I said. I'm protecting. His smile faded. You don't understand what you're involved in. I understand exactly, I replied. This ends now. He stepped closer. You can't save her. I met his gaze. I don't have to. She already saved herself. For the first time, something like uncertainty flickered in his eyes. I'll see you soon, he said quietly, then turned and walked away. The door closed. Lily slid down the wall, knees to her chest, finally crying, deep, shaking sobs she'd been holding back for months. I'm scared, she admitted. I know, I said softly. But fear doesn't mean weakness. It means you're finally free enough to feel. Outside, sirens wailed somewhere far away. Inside, for the first time, Lily slept without being locked in. And I knew. This was only the middle of the story. The days that followed felt unreal, like life was moving but my body hadn't caught up yet. Lily stayed quiet most of the time. Not weak, just exhausted. Trauma doesn't scream forever, Sometimes it whispers until you finally listen. She moved around my apartment carefully, like she was afraid of breaking something invisible. Every night, she checked the door twice before sleeping. Every morning, she woke up before sunrise. One evening, while washing dishes, she suddenly said, "I used to count his footsteps." I turned off the tap. If the steps were heavy, I stayed silent. If they were slow, I prepared excuses. If they were quiet, that was the worst. I didn't know what to say. Some pain doesn't need answers, it needs space. 2 days later, the police called. He had violated the temporary protection order. Multiple messages. Unannounced visits. Witness confirmation from my building's security guard. It was enough. When they arrested him, it wasn't dramatic. No shouting. No resistance. Just handcuffs clicking shut on a man who truly believed consequences were for other people. Lily watched from the window. She didn't cry. She didn't smile. She just stood there, arms wrapped around herself, breathing slowly, like she was learning how again. "I thought I'd feel relief," she said quietly. "But I just feel empty." "That's normal," I replied. "You spent so long surviving that your body doesn't know what peace feels like yet." The court process took months. Some days Lily was strong, confident, focused, determined. Other days, she was quiet and distant, haunted by memories that refused to fade. Healing wasn't a straight line. It doubled back on itself, tripped, paused. In court, he tried to look harmless. Tried to sound misunderstood. Tried to turn control into concern. But facts don't care about charm. The judge listened. The evidence spoke. The truth held steady. When the verdict was read, Lily's hands trembled, but this time, she didn't look down. Outside the courthouse, the sky was gray, but open. "I stayed too long," she said suddenly. "I hate myself for that. I stopped walking." "You didn't stay because you were weak. You stayed because you hoped. That's not a flaw." She looked at me like she was hearing that for the first time. Weeks later, Lily moved into her own apartment. It wasn't big. It wasn't fancy. But every lock worked from the inside. Every decision was hers. She bought cheap furniture, bright curtains, and plants she sometimes forgot to water. "It feels strange," she said one night when I visited. "No one asking where I am. No one checking my phone. Freedom feels unfamiliar at first," I replied. She started therapy. Took self-defense classes, not because she expected danger, but because she wanted confidence. She laughed more. Not loudly, but genuinely. The kind of laughter that doesn't look over its shoulder. One night, months later, she called me again. But this time, her voice was calm. "Can you come over?" she asked. I made dinner. I burned half of it, but still. I smiled. "I'm on my way." When I arrived, she opened the door herself. Standing tall, steady, unafraid. "I lock my door now," she said, smiling softly. "Not because I'm scared. Because I choose to." We ate on the floor, plates balanced on our knees, talking about everything we never had time for before, dreams, mistakes, small hopes. "I used to think love meant endurance," she said. "That if I stayed long enough, it would get better. And now?" I asked. "Now I know love shouldn't feel like a prison." She looked at me, not desperate, not broken, but present. "I'm not asking you to save me," she said. "I already saved myself." I reached for her hand. "I know." Outside, the city moved like it always had. Cars passed. Doors opened. Doors closed. But this time, none of them were locked from the outside. And the words that started everything, "There's still room at my place," no longer meant escape. They meant choice. They meant safety. They meant a future built without fear. And that was enough.